Alright, so the difference between going to boot camp during the summer versus the winter. So besides the obvious difference in temperature, right? I was there in June, July. It was extremely hot in Great Lakes. I was sweating. Versus during the winter time, it's extremely cold. Besides the temperature, right? You're still going to be doing the same activities. Okay, so there's not much difference there. But what I want to talk about is just be careful. Okay, if you take it during the winter time. And what I mean by that is you don't really necessarily have control of when you ship out, right? They just give you a date, but sometimes if you can change it in a way that you don't miss Thanksgiving, you don't miss Christmas, you don't miss New Year's, if you can, right? Sometimes you don't have control of that. It's just given what you're given. But if you can, right? I would preferably go during the summer. Summer I would say is a better experience. Being in the Navy, sweating, the ideal boot camp experience compared to the wintertime. And during the summertime also, right? If you go during the summertime, for example, June, you should also be careful, right? Because you go to boot camp for 2 months, and then you don't, it depends on how long your A school is, right? My A school was luckily for 2 months. But if your A school is, for example, let's say 6 months, you might be spending your Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's at A school, right? So just be careful of when you go in. There's no really like a perfect time to go in. You just kind of pick and hope for the best. But for those of you who might be wondering what happens during holidays, during boot camp, for example, let's say Thanksgiving, Christmas, or New Year's, I would imagine, I wasn't there, I was just there for June, July. I would imagine you would just get an extra phone call home for Christmas in those times to just talk to your family, because that is important, right? It's a big morale booster. But if you are in A school, I don't know exactly what their policy is. I'm sure it's different from A school to A school, but this is not confirmed, okay? This is just my imagination of how things should be done, and I believe would be done. For example, right, 2016 Christmas was on a Sunday, right? So I believe if I could guess, I believe what they would do is give you Friday and Monday off. So you have Saturday and Sunday. So Saturday, Christmas Eve, Sunday, Christmas. So you would go home Friday and then you come back Monday. You spend 2 days with your family and then you continue A school. So I believe that's how they would do it. And I imagine that's how they would do it. But I'm sure it's different from A school to A school. They probably each have their own little policy of how they deal things over there. So yeah, that's just one thing that I want you to keep in mind. And also, save your leave days. Okay, each month when you are in the military, you accumulate 2.5 leave days. Okay, so what some people did when I went to boot camp and A school, so I went to boot camp in June, graduated to A school September, so there was 4 months, and people accumulated 4 months of leave days, so 2.5 is 10 days, right? So people right after A school used those leave days. I saved mine because I wanted to spend as much time as I can during the holidays where it counts, right? So make sure you don't throw your leave days away frivolously. Make sure you save them and spend those leave days with family when it really matters. Okay, so that's what I wanted to share with you today. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great Navy day.